This feels quite familiar. I've told this story many times, but it's worth telling again. My first job started in a coffin when I was 5 years old at the original Edge of Hell. It was a nice place for babysitting, actually, to where when I'd get tired of working inside the haunted attraction, my Uncle Monty would scoop me up, put me in a coffin above the large arched doorway of the original building, and I would throw down lots of very old dead flower petals from the local graveyards onto the souls who entered or dared to enter the Edge of Hell. So do tell if you're also into the paranormal or the spirits among us. There's one place in Kansas City that you will not want to miss: Elmwood Cemetery. Few will deny that there is something strangely different about old Elmwood Cemetery. There's a stillness there that's simply disturbing. Even when you're there alone, you get the feeling that you're not really alone, that someone or some things are watching you. Under the burnt brown grass, the mossy mausoleums, and all their crooked stones lie 36,000 dead souls, 36,000 bodies in moldy suits and dresses turned to dust. Since the first grave was dug at Elmwood Cemetery all the way back in 1872, it has become the final resting place for over 800 soldiers who fought in the Civil War. 12 former Kansas City mayors and many other prominent Kansas City residents whose names you might recognize from the streets and local landmarks, like Jacob Luce of Sunshine Biscuit fame and the beautiful park in South Kansas City that carries his name, Mary Adkins of the Nelson Adkins Museum of Art and the Armour Meatpacking Dynasty, and some of President Harry Truman's family. Others who lie here include Annie Chambers, the madam of Kansas City's most famous house of ill repute. Annie reformed her ways in the end so she could rest in peace here among Kansas City's famous and infamous. Zerelda James, the wife and first cousin of the killer Jesse James, was here too for a while. They kept her in an above-ground container until they could figure out where the family wanted her buried. Her sister-in-law, Annie Ralston, wife of the outlaw Frank James, was like thousands of others, burned to ashes in the crematorium at Elmwood. The old crematorium is now cold and no longer used, but the chamber is still there in the basement of the old chapel. The troubled soul of Frances Hyde Swope, the niece of Colonel Thomas H. Swope, who donated Swope Park to Kansas City, is also buried at Elmwood. Frances was married to Kansas City's most infamous doctor, Dr. Bennett Hyde. She wisely divorced him after the doctor was charged and tried for the murders of her uncle, Thomas Swope, Swope's cousin, Moss Hutton, and Frances's own brother, William Chrisman Swope. The mysterious and clever Dr. Hyde was also charged with attempting to poison 8 other people by infecting them with the typhoid fever. Strangely, the Missouri Supreme Court ruled that while there was evidence of various deaths and illnesses, there was no evidence of murder. After a series of mistrials and hung juries, Hyde was acquitted of all charges, although he died lonely and discredited as a doctor and as a human being.